Malayalam cinema has always been popularly known for its small, intricate, and nuanced films. But now it's time to go big, which we have been seeing in the past few years. But this year we have two biggies coming our way, so let's talk about them. Kathanar the Wild Sorcerer and
Patriot.
Hello guys, I'm Nona and the trailer for both these films released recently, and we will talk about both of them. But before getting to the specifics, let's talk about the changing times, as a distinction between theatre films and OTT films is widening. Today, watching a film in a theatre is an experiential activity. There should be a reason for the audience to consume the film in a theatre. It should be worth their time and money considering how expensive they are getting. Now, the purists or the cinephiles would not agree to that. Every film should be watched in theatre, but that is far from reality. The world we are living right now, the next logical step in this evolution is to go big. One needs to catch up or they'll be left behind. And it's not to say that don't make small films. All kinds of films should be made, but also there should be an attempt to make those bigger films. It should not be that Malayalam cinema is meant for streaming and the theatres are for the big spectacles from other languages. That is what at large Indian cinema was facing when Hollywood was dominating the Indian box office, until Bahubali came and ignited a spark across the country. And that showed that there was a big void that was unexplored, and attempts have to be made to cater that demand. And it's not just about the scale, the big budgets, or the visual effects. A film like Echo is a theatrical experience because of its stunning visuals, because they went to the location and shot it. That atmospheric sound design, the music, which elevated everything. Or the Malayalam blockbuster Loka, which was a high budget for Malayalam industry, but the scale was in its writing, the scope this world has that they were building in it. Even films like Manjumal Boys, Avesham, Adu Jeevitam, for the industry they all are a bit high budget films, because they are going for a bigger narrative. You need these bigger films to sustain the business. When big films come, they bring audience to the theatre. That audience brings money. That money helps to sustain the theatrical business. And because of that, smaller films get a chance to run in theatres. It's all a cycle. Now there is another reason. Films are also our representation on screen. We have all grown up watching those Hollywood blockbusters. And who are the heroes in those films? Who are doing all the cool things? It's mostly the white actors. Recently that is getting diversed. But what about us? When will we see ourselves represented on screen doing all this cool stuff? We also want to see people looking at us doing cool stuff on screen. We want our stars to do those crazy action sequences, to be superheroes, to showcase those powers. That all of this is not limited to certain people in the world, that we can also do it. We get to celebrate our culture, our history with that grandness on that big screen. But the complex thing is that just bigness is not enough. You need solid content to support that. And that's where the big fight is, to balance that. So let's talk about both the films in that context. First, let's talk about Kathanar the Wild Sorcerer, which has been in the making for a long time. And behind the scenes, we know that they have been using a lot of new technologies, be it motion capture or virtual production. Now, it's based on a folklore about a 14th century priest who had supernatural powers. Now, the film is being directed by Roger Thomas, who previously made #Home, and making Kathanar is a big swing from that. Now, the teaser trailer which we saw looks solid, but I was not the biggest fan of the editing. Like, we got our first glimpse of the film a year or so back, and now that we are getting an official teaser for such kind of films, you want to focus on the majestic shots, the core of the narrative, the titular character, and that gives you a vibe check of what to expect from such film. You want to see those hero shots. Whereas this teaser is structured in a way where it's building up its titular character and the story is in the focus. It feels like a classic legend is being told. We start the film in an old library where such legends would be stored, creating a myth. We see kids learning about magic, and by the time we come to a protagonist, we see a lot of things. We see a lot of different characters, we see a lot of locations, and that gives you an idea that there's just way too much going on apart from our main character. And in that, there are some shots where you can see it's a set, the costume, the makeup is not looking that convincing. You can see the character is wearing a wig, and these shortcomings are natural when you kind of show too much. But coming to the visual effects we saw, they look really cool, especially this wide shot with the clouds forming behind. It has a very darker feel to it. You don't get that much often. There's also this Harry Potter style Dementor sequence, smoky shadows flying around, and also these wide landscape shots, the silhouette shots of the protagonist, the fire behind him. Those are the highlights of the teaser. Now, I understand this character is supposed to be anti-hero. The teaser says be careful whom you pray to, and there is a thing that the character is supposed to be good, but it's the evil perception that has been built around him, and that gives an opportunity for the narrative to be more nuanced, to deal in that grey area, to not be that straightforward. Now, I realize that we saw a version of these characters in Loka last year, but the stories are going to be very different. In In this film, reportedly Anushka Shetty is playing the character of Neeli. Now from the teaser, she looks nothing like a Yakshi. It feels more like she's a princess or something. But yeah, we don't get anything more than that. Now the film also stars Prabhu Deva, who has a very different style, and I'm not a big fan of it. Yes, he's a great dancer, and I think we'll also get a dance scene in the film. But whatever we saw of him in the teaser, it feels like he's gonna play a comic relief. And all of those things kind of gave me a bitter taste that we may get some template stuff. Now again, it's too soon to judge the whole film from the teaser. The most interesting element for me in this film is the supernatural angle, and I just hope that they stick true to it and doesn't just become a subplot just to make the film more palatable to the regular audience. But overall, it's looking good. It has that scale. It is getting a lot of positive reactions, especially outside Kerala, and the film is going pan-India. And now let's go to the other one, Patriot, which looks like an espionage cyber crime thriller. Now the cast of the film, the director behind it, everything just gives you a feel of a blockbuster. Like the way at the end of the trailer we get the name of the cast one by one, it looks too very similar how Hollywood does it. You would see that recently in the teaser of Dune 3. We have Mammootty, Mohanlal, Fahad Fasil, Kunchako Boban, Nayantara, Revati, Darshana, and so many more. 3.5 minutes is too long for a trailer. It almost felt like they set up the whole plot there. We have this software Periscope, which I assume is Pegasus, which is used to spy on individuals, and there's this whole conspiracy around it. There's a political angle to it, there's a business side to it, and then our protagonist kind of out these people, and because of that the blame is put on him and he's on the run. Like visually the film looks really good. It is a globetrotter. We're traveling to different places across the world. You can feel the tension they are building. There's also this local case that's happening which kind of grounds the whole thing, and that's important to show the impact of such big things on a common man's life. And you can feel that there are a lot of layers to be explored with a lot of commercial elements. We have action, we have a whole chase sequence. Now it's hard to talk about this without mentioning Dhurandhar, because even before Dhurandhar came out, when I heard about this film and it's gonna be a spy action film also, I expected this film to be what Dhurandhar ended up being, a great mix of commercial sensibilities and grounded storytelling. And after watching Dhurandhar, my expectations from this film are really high. I think a lot of fun in this film will come from the actors interacting with each other. Like when you have such a cast, some of the best actors from the industry, you want them to share screen space. You want them to interact, banter against each other. Like the whole reveal of Mohanlal's character is whistle worthy. I just hope we get a similar feeling while watching the film. At the moment he's revealed, Fahad uses the F word, and that gives all of these things happening a meta layering. We all know about the fan wars, the old superstar, the current superstar, and all of them are in this film. I love the look for both Mammootty and Mohanlal in this film, that they are old, they have this salt and pepper look, they look tired, they are retired army personnel. Making them play that particular age just adds another element to the narrative. Also, if you notice carefully, Mohanlal's one leg is prosthetics, and that just gives the actor more things to play with. Of course, not literally, which I think in the action sequence he would use it. Now with Fahad's character, there's this angle of his father which is not very clear. We see a childhood version of his character, and I hear some murmurs that maybe Mammootty is his father. That would be a crazy theory. Also on the trailer, it looks like Fahad's character and Kunchako Boban's character work together. They build this software maybe, and then both of them had a different ideology about how to use it, and that's where the conflict arises. And it looks like Fahad is playing the negative shade. He's gonna be the antagonist of the film, or maybe it's a big misdirect. Now my only worry for the film is that, are we gonna rely too much on the actors playing those characters? Because if that's the case, people who don't have that connection with those actors would not feel the same the way we would. Remember, this is going pan-India, so I just hope the baggage of the actors doesn't come into play, and anyone watching the film would understand it and relate to it. I'm pretty excited for this film. I have too much trust in Mahesh Narayanan. He's an exceptional filmmaker, and I have high hopes from this one. But there's still a lot of time for both these films to arrive, and before that we have to talk about Wada 2. So subscribe to get the review whenever it's out.